Hi everyone, welcome to Agnes Tech Zone. In this video, I will be presenting the topic about ER diagrams, that is entity relationship diagrams. The contents of this video are introduction, main components of ER diagram, types of attributes, cardinality in ER diagram, advantages of ER diagram, and finally conclusion. The term ER stands for entity relationship. Entity relationship model is one of the type of relational data model. The visual representation of ER model is the ER diagrams. ER diagrams are used to design databases, or it is a blueprint or visual representation of the databases. It visually represents entities. Entities means thing or object. Attributes. Attributes mean properties or characteristics of that object. And relationships. It shows how the data is structured, what entities exist, what properties they have, and how they relate to one another. ER diagrams are the foundational step in designing a relational database. It is commonly used in database management system and software engineering. The main components of ER diagram: entity, attribute, relationship, and cardinality. Entity represents objects or things. Attribute that describes properties of entities. Relationship, it shows association between entities. Cardinality, it defines numerical relationship. What is an entity? It is a recognizable object or thing about which data is stored. For example, student, car, and employee. Normally, rectangle symbol represents an entity. Here, student is an entity. Attribute, it is a property or characteristics of an entity. For example, student is an entity. The attributes of student are student ID, name, and date of birth. Normally, oval symbol represents an attribute. Here, student name is an attribute. Relationship, it is an association between two or more entities. For example, a student enrolls in a course. Here, student and course are the entities. Enrolls is a relationship or association between student and course entity. Another example, employee works for a department. Here, employee and department, both are the entities. Works, it is the relationship between employee and department entities. Diamond symbol represents the relationship. Here, enrolls is a relationship between the student and course. We have different types of attributes. Attribute means it is a property or characteristics of an entity. Not all data is created equal. Attributes have specific roles. First, primary key. It is an attribute that uniquely identifies each entity instance. For example, student ID is a primary key in a student table. Usually, we represent primary key underlined in ER diagrams. Foreign key, it is an attribute in one entity that links to the primary key of the another entity. Composite attribute, an attribute that can be broken down into smaller parts. For example, full name breaks to first name, middle name, last name, like that. Multi-valid attributes, an attribute that can hold more than one value, means that is multi-valued attribute. For example, phone numbers. A single person can have multiple phone number. Normally, it represented by a symbol double oval. Derived attribute. An attribute whose value is calculated from other data. For example, age is an attribute. It derived from the date of birth. Here the symbol used to represent derived attribute, dashed oval. Next, cardinality in ER diagram. Cardinality defines the numerical relationship between two entities. There are different types of cardinality: one to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. One to one means one entity A is related to exactly one entity B. For example, one person has one passport. That is the one to one cardinality. One to many. It denoted by 1 is n. One entity A can be related to a multiple entities B. But entity B is only related to one entity A. For example, one customer places many orders, but a specific order belongs to only one customer. Many to one. Multiple entities A are related to one entity B. That is the reverse of 1 is to n. Example, many orders belong to one customer. Many to many. It denoted by M is to n. Multiple entities A are related to multiple entities B. For example, many students enroll in many courses. So these cardinalities are used to represent in ER diagram. This ER diagram represents a simple database for a university management system. In an university management system, we have different entities that are student, course, and professor. The attributes of student are student ID, first name, last name, email, date of birth, phone, and address. The attributes of course entity are course ID, course name, credits, department, semester, and course code. The attributes of professor are professor ID, first name, last name, email, and department. And the entity student and course that are related with enrolls relationship, and the professor and course relationship taught by. So here rectangle symbol represents an entity and oval symbol represents an attribute and a diamond symbol represents the relationship between two or more entities. The cardinality represents by 1 for one-to-one relationship and M or N many to many or many to one relationship. So here a student can enroll in many courses. So we mention 1 is M. A course can have many students. So here we mention M. Likewise, a course is taught by one professor. A professor can teach many courses. So 1 is M. A student is advised by one professor, but a professor can advise many students. So one student enrolls many courses. One professor is the advisor of n student. One professor taught by many courses. So entities are real world object. For example, here student, course and professor are the entities. Attributes describe the properties of entities. And relationship, it shows association between entities. Finally, cardinalities define the number of occurrences of one entity related to another. Some of the advantages of ER diagram. It is easy to understand database structure. It improves communication between developers and users. It helps in database planning and normalization. It reduces database design errors. Finally, ER diagrams are essential tools in DBMS, and also it is a blueprint of the database. They simplify database modeling, and it is widely used in software and application development. Based on the ER diagrams, we easily understand our database. Thank you.